What if I told you that Hollywood's most humble superhero is also its biggest mystery? Paul Rudd, the man who became Ant-Man, has looked exactly the same for 30 years. He doesn't age, but more shocking than his eternal youth is his journey. A comedy actor who never wanted to be a superhero, who almost turned down Marvel, and who became the key to defeating Thanos by thinking small. This is the untold story of how the nicest guy in Hollywood saved the universe. And trust me, his real journey is more incredible than any shrinking suit. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into the remarkable journey of Paul Rudd, from comedy sidekick to Ant-Man and Avenger. This is a story about staying humble, defying age, and proving that heroes come in all sizes. Hit that subscribe button and let's jump in. Paul Stephen Rudd was born April 6, 1969, in Passaic, New Jersey. His family moved to Kansas when he was young, where he grew up as a regular Midwestern kid. Paul studied theater at the University of Kansas, then trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. In the early 90s, Paul moved to Los Angeles with big dreams, but zero connections. He took small TV roles, barely paying rent, wondering if he'd made a terrible mistake leaving everything behind. Then in 1995, everything changed with one word: clueless. Paul played Josh in Clueless, 1995, the smart, caring stepbrother who wins Alicia Silverstone's heart. The film became a cultural phenomenon. Suddenly, Paul Rudd was Hollywood's new heartthrob. But here's the problem: Hollywood only saw him one way, the romantic comedy guy. For the next 15 years, Paul was typecast in rom-coms and comedies, always the supporting friend, never the action hero. Paul worked constantly, becoming comedy gold, but never the lead. Romeo plus Juliet, 1996. Small role, but worked with DiCaprio and learned from Baz Luhrmann's vision. The Object of My Affection, 1998, played a gay man opposite Jennifer Aniston, showing dramatic range Hollywood ignored. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Farrell, 2004, stole scenes as Brian Fantana, the ridiculous news reporter. His chemistry with Will Ferrell was electric. This role proved Paul could improvise brilliantly. The 40-Year-Old Virgin, 2005, supporting role but memorable. The Judd Apatow film became a massive hit. Paul's natural comedy timing shined, but he was still the friend, not the star. Knocked Up, 2007, another Apatow film, another supporting role. Paul was beloved but stuck in a box. Studios saw him as comedy relief, not leading man material. I Love You Man, 2009. Finally a co-lead, Paul played the awkward guy looking for male friendship. Critics praised him, but Hollywood still didn't see him as action material. Our Idiot Brother, 2011. First true leading role at age 42. Paul played a gentle, naive man. He proved he could carry a film, but action directors weren't calling. By 2013, Paul Rudd was 44 years old. He'd been working for 20 years, respected but never the hero. He'd made peace with being the funny sidekick. Then his phone rang with the most unexpected offer of his life. Marvel Studios wanted Paul to be Ant-Man. Paul's first reaction? He laughed. He thought it was a joke. He was 44, not a typical superhero age. He wasn't muscular. He was a comedy actor. Why him? Marvel explained. They didn't want a typical superhero. They wanted someone real, funny, relatable, a regular guy who becomes extraordinary. They wanted Paul Rudd, but Paul hesitated. He had 2 kids. Superhero films meant years of commitment, intense training, and global fame he'd never experienced. His wife asked him, "Will you regret saying no?" Paul realized he would. He said yes. Ant-Man, 2015, was unlike anything Paul had done. He trained for months, weightlifting, martial arts, stunt work. At 45, he got into the best shape of his life. The film had production troubles. Director Edgar Wright left during pre-production. Many predicted failure, but Paul stayed committed. He worked with new director Peyton Reed to make Scott Lang real. A father trying to reconnect with his daughter, an ex-con getting a second chance. When Ant-Man premiered, it earned $519 million worldwide. Critics loved Paul's performance, funny but heartfelt. He'd proven that superheroes don't need to be serious all the time. More importantly, Paul made Ant-Man matter. The character could have been a joke, a guy who shrinks. But Paul gave him depth, humor, and heart. Captain America, Civil War, 2016. Paul's Ant-Man joined the Avengers, fighting alongside Cap. The film's highlight, Scott becoming Giant Man, growing to massive size. Paul's delivery, I'm sorry, I got excited. Perfectly captured his character's awe at being an Avenger. Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018. Paul returned as lead, this time sharing the spotlight with Evangeline Lilly. Behind the scenes, Paul helped develop the story. The film earned $623 million. Scott Lang was now a major MCU player. Then came the biggest surprise. Avengers Endgame, 2019. Paul's role was crucial. Scott escapes the quantum realm after 5 years, bringing the idea of time travel that ultimately defeats Thanos. A comedy actor in a shrinking suit provided the key to saving the universe. Paul's Scott Lang wasn't the strongest Avenger, but he was the most important one. The film made $2.8 billion, becoming the highest-grossing film ever at the time. Paul Rudd, the former comedy sidekick, was now part of cinema history. Somewhere during this journey, the internet noticed something weird. Paul Rudd doesn't age. Seriously, compare photos from 1995 to 2023. He looks virtually identical. Paul Rudd aging became an internet phenomenon. Memes exploded. People joked he discovered the quantum realm's anti-aging secrets. Paul, always humble, credited sleep and lots of water. In 2021, People magazine named him sexiest man alive at age 52. His response? I'm going to own this. I'm not going to fight it. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 2023. Paul returned for the third Ant-Man film, this time facing Kang the Conqueror, the MCU's next big villain. The film explored the quantum realm deeply, with Scott's daughter Cassie becoming a hero herself. Behind the scenes, Paul had become a producer, shaping the film's direction. He'd grown from an actor taking orders to a creative force. The film grossed $476 million, despite mixed reviews. Today, Paul Rudd is 55 years old and still looks 35. He's made over 70 films. He's an Avenger. He's proven that success can come at any age, that comedy actors can be action heroes, and that the nicest guy in Hollywood can save the universe. He lives quietly in New York with his wife Julie and their 2 kids, avoiding the Hollywood spotlight. He still does comedy. He still makes people laugh. And yes, he still doesn't age. Paul's journey teaches us something powerful. Being typecast isn't the end. Being underestimated isn't failure. Sometimes the world just needs time to see what you really are. Paul Rudd waited 20 years to become a superhero. And when his moment came, he was ready. The smallest Avenger had the biggest heart all along. That's the real Paul Rudd. From comedy sidekick to Ant-Man. From typecast actor to Avenger. From underestimated to unforgettable. His story proves it's never too late to become a hero. What's your favorite Paul Rudd movie? Ant-Man or one of his comedies? Drop it in the comments. If this inspired you, smash that like button and share this video. Subscribe and hit the bell for more incredible Hollywood stories. Remember, you're never too old, never too typecast, never too small to make a massive impact. See you in the next one.